has been one of the guys kind of holding it down for Root, one of the strongest performers on the team when you just look at results. He's been to a couple NASL finals. He's performed well at the WCS Canada events. Didn't have the best run at WCS North America Continental Final, but had a very difficult bracket. Very, very difficult bracket.
That happened. So without further ado, Root TT1 is our red Protoss spawning on the top side of Metropolis. And EG's very own Demuslim, the Devil Terran, the handsome Devil Terran, is of course our British Terran player spawning on the left side of Metropolis.
Demuslim played WCS Europe just this past weekend. Also had a pretty difficult bracket, ran into some very strong opponents.
Yeah, I mean, he lost against two guys who are considered to be either the best or the second best of their respectable races in Europe. Of course, talking about Nurcho in the loser bracket, Nastefano is the best. There can never be any question about that again, at least for a little while. But he also lost against Mana in the first round. That was a 2-1 defeat though, so still pretty close. And the Muslim had the same terrible traveling schedule as Stefano. Now, everyone takes that different as well. It didn't influence Stefano apparently, but I can imagine that for someone like Ben, might have had a bigger impact on him.
Now, Metropolis is the map. Kev, I've not seen that many TVPs on Metropolis, but the ones that I do sit down for often go very long. We often see big macro games in this matchup. Why is that? What about Metropolis lends itself to late gameplay?
It's very easy to take your natural, and going up to 3 bases is not that hard either. But on the other hand, there's a lot of airspace, Ben, so that also allows it for medevacs to start dropping around and makes it a lot easier. Makes it a little bit tougher for Protoss players because, you know, on some maps you put one High Templar at the edge and you basically cover your entire base. In this map you have to worry about all this area, so 1 or 2 High Templars or 1 or 2 cannons are not going to be enough. Now guys, this is of course not a live game as the Muslim has played WCS. He's in Sweden right now, and there is probably something that we should add. Apparently they hosted the wrong map first, and that game did not go very long as far as I know. It was just a game that literally just started, but there was a problem with the map, so the players had to rehost, and that was something that certainly TT1 was not too happy with.
Yeah, of course, anything that takes away from a player's ability to focus can be really, really frustrating to deal with. And well, it's just something that we sometimes have to cope with, certainly when you're dealing with online tournaments and things like this.
TT1 is going to open things up with a Stalker ban as the Muslim dropped an engineering bay. I'm a big fan of people who do that, certainly when those Protoss players are greedy and decided to skip the Zealot. This is annoying. This is a good 30 to 40 second delay on your Nexus. Take a look at this command center ban. It's almost done. That Nexus just warped in.
That's right. Demuslim going to enjoy a pretty healthy economic lead here, in part because of that eBay block. There's a question of what TT1's going to do as a result of that. He has been chrono boosting his warp gate. But he is making sentries, so probably not hinting at any sorts of immediate aggression.
And I mean, to fall back on your earlier point, because I basically just made a point about why dropping is so good on this map, rather than you asking me why do games often go so long. That is just because once pro players go up to 3 bases, this is such a big map that it's much more comfortable to kind of lean back, get the ultimate upgrades out, go towards that 4th base and get a bigger and bigger army. And Protoss, most of the time, they feel comfortable. The more gates they get, they know the less good of a fight they have to take, because they know their wave of reinforcements are getting better and better. And for a Terran, it can be quite hard to attack into a Protoss player, which is really settled up with Colossus' Storm already. So you're not, once it goes past that 15-minute mark, it often goes past the 30 minutes mark as well, if that makes any sense.
Oh, 4 gates go down at once, Kev. So we've got TT1 working on 5 gates. So I was wrong when I said no early game aggression. He's going to start turning it up a notch.
Kind of crazy right now that he just sends out a probe without having control of the Zelnaga Watchtower, man.
Equally crazy that Demuslim doesn't have anything out on the map to spot this.
Well, yes and no. Of course, for Terran it's a little bit difficult. Demuslim probably thinks anything I send out right now past this line of Fog of War is going to get picked up immediately by 2 Stalkers who are superior in this phase of the game. Now the Muslim with his first Marauder feels confident enough.
Oh, wow. Did he spot it?
Yeah, he did, because he's immediately chasing it.
Or maybe...
I think he did. One more gate is being wiped in right now for TT1. All timing on that 6th gate ban. But I think we're going to see some real serious aggression from TT1.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. He's, but he is still producing probes, interestingly enough, Kev. He's at 38 workers, not quite full 2-base saturation yet, but maybe he doesn't want to go completely all in.
The Muslim is working off 2 Rexes right now, one with a tech lab and one with a reactor. Stimpack is more than halfway done. If you survive the first wave of force fields, it's going to be quite good for Terran, because then they're going to have Stim in the second fight. But if they don't survive the first wave, then it's going to get really tricky, because obviously, I mean, or you could even say, Ben, it's going to get a little dicey for the Terran player.
Only 2 bunkers down for Demuslim, Kevin. I'm worrying. I don't think that's going to be quite enough. SCV transfer to the natural is not for repairs. Demuslim seems completely oblivious to this. Here comes the army of TT1. Guardian Shield, Force Fields, and uh-oh, this could get very dicey indeed, Roddy.
But there's not that much DPS yet, Ben, in this army from TT1, in my opinion. I think the Muslim is doing a pretty good job so far. Yes, he lost a bunker, but the second bunker is still alive. Now he gets SCV in position. There was just not that much DPS in the army of TT1.
He only had like 4 or 5 zealots.
Yeah. You have 6 gates, and if you attack with 8 units,
maybe he should have waited for one more warp in. Now we've got more bunkers going down, and this is going to get better and better for Demuslim. TT1's maybe got one more shot to bust this before his opponent is completely fortified.
He has an army supply lead, but the medevacs are on the way. Stim is done, so this is really it. TT1 right now, he's going to have to crush the Muslim, otherwise he's in a world of trouble.
Do or die, here we go. There's a lot of zealots in the mix this time. More good force fields going down. SCVs at the front die very, very quickly, but is it enough? Oh, it looks so close. Bunker not really being repaired. Every unit forced to evacuate. Nice control here by Demuslim, but uh-oh. All of his units force fielded up at the top of the ramp. That means this natural expansion is going to fall.
This looks good. He's going to temporarily abandon this natural. Good job there by TT1, dropping really, really good force fields, cutting up units, not even allowing them to enter those bunkers. But still, man, this is stimmed by. Oh, that's a massive force field.
Yeah, these SCVs all just trapped down at the bottom of the ramp. Right now it's 41 probes to 32
TT1, use your range unit to pick up these
he really needs to kill these workers.
Oh,
and the medevac save! That is a brilliant move by Demuslim. And now TT1 has to make the decision, does he want to try to break the ramp or not? I think he could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, that's a ton of zealots. Yes, Tim Bio with medevacs is damn scary, man, but this is an insane amount of zealots. Meanwhile, we have a factory. I think if the Muslim is smart, he should land that factory and try to produce a Hellion or 2.
TT1 is going to go for it, Kev. He just wanted one more warp in of Stalkers, and now Demuslim's going to have to really micro this well. A couple of Zealots going to try to make their way over to the middle line. SCV's being pulled immediately. There's the big stem. Nice force fields by TT1, but the Zealots not involved in the fight at all. Hold position on the SCVs, complicating things as well. And the Marine Marauder just chewing through the army of TT1, and Demuslim's going to hold.
For now. Of course, he's still mining from one baseband, and only 20 SCVs remain, so yes, this fight definitely went quite okay for the Muslim, but he's still in a little bit of trouble. I think the moment he has 1 or 2 more medevacs, Ben, he's immediately going to try to make the decision to at least send out 1 medevac to deal some damage on the other side, because he knows the longer he's just going to stand in his main base, the worse it's going to get for him. He's even going to do it right now already.
He's going to try to bust out, but it's going to be so hard with sentries down at the bottom of that ramp. It means he's basically got to load up if he wants to leave. Load up
sentries in the front?
Oh, again, TT1's going to try to make something happen. Walks right at the ramp. More good force fields going down. Still, the Zealots not really getting involved in the fighting. Finally, they managed to trickle in. More force field going down. And actually, you know, I think TT1 just has...
Well, Ben, this is close. There is a medevac entering the main base of TT1. TT1 is losing so many units over here in the main base. I think the Muslim is going to hold.
And this counter drop, huge counter drop in the main base. And as you said, Kevin, Demuslim does hold, but he holds with only 6 SC. TT1 GG's. Oh no, TT1 maybe not realizing the amount of damage that he had dealt.
I think the bigger problem that he was worried about, Ben, is that he never felt he was going to be able to kill 8 Stim Marines in his main base. What a remarkable hold by the Muslim. And what a ballsy decision. I've said it. I actually thought that he was going to wait for 1 more medevac, because to only leave 1 medevac in your main base when there are so many gateway units out there, that's a crazy decision. You need some big cojones for that, and the Muslim showing that he has sick hold. Man, what a comeback by the Muslim.
That was very, very impressive. And of course, if we back up a little bit and look at the state of the game, when TT1 did tap out, he only had 8 army supply, which is not enough to deal with those Stim Marines. So that was not an early GG at all. He was dead, and the Muslim showing some just brilliant play.
The Muslim being down 30 workers, being down 50 supply, and basically being stuck in between brackets, stuck on one base because there were force fields on the ground. Overconfident TT1, just, I mean, we both said he had a lot of gateway units.
We could say overconfident. I'm going to say underconfident because I think if he'd have gone up the ramp that first time, that Demuslim would not have been able to stop him. Instead, TT1 sat back and waited just a little bit longer, and that allowed the medevacs to pop out. That allowed more units to pop out.
I felt the biggest problem was also that he kind of brought in the sentries in the front, so all the sentries died pretty quick. That meant no more Guardian Shield, so those Marines did very well. Still, I think a great hold by the Muslim. Ben, game number 2 is going to be played on your favorite map.
It's going to be on Ohana, but before that, we have to thank Epson for sponsoring that first game, and we have to take a very short break. Don't go anywhere, guys. Game number 2, Demuslim TT1, when we get back.